What's up, nerds? All right, here we go. All right. No excuses. Oh, the glare is so awful. There's one excuse. Can y'all still see?
Yes.
Y'all can?
I see it perfectly.
All right. Look at that, dude. No way. What's up? Starting my YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah.
All right. You guys ready to go?
That's in the bag.
All right, let's in the bag, dude. All right, here we go. We started this line yesterday, all right? And we had talked about Casticus, how we had convinced Casticus to basically, who was the leader of the what? You remember Casticus?
Oh, yeah, he was the leader, or he was the son of the Sequani leader.
Yeah, very good. So he was now the next in line to be the leader. And Dumnorix is the Aeduan leader, brother of Dewickiacus, all right? And who at the time, Dewickiacus, talking about, who at the time was trying to obtain, or was obtaining, he hadn't done it yet. He's not like, Casticus's dad, who had completely gotten the Sequani underneath him. He was trying to obtain all of the authority, the Principatum, in that city-state, the Aeduan city-state. And what was he doing? And what was about him? Something about him, Dewickiacus. And similar to the dad of Casticus, similar to them, Akeptus. It was Appellatus erat yesterday. Do y'all remember that one yesterday? Appellatus erat, talking about Casticus's dad. He had been called a friend of the Roman people. This guy, very similarly, because remember, Caesar is, of course, writing the story to make him look good, but you can't make yourself look good if you're not clear to your audience. So remember, he's trying to write this with serious clarity, all right? Orgetorix is just the top dog of the Helvetians. Don't question my authority on that, all right? Casticus, he's the top dog of the Sequani. Don't question my authority on that, all right? And now we have this new guy, Dumnorix, all right? Who is basically, eventually, you guys can tell the way he's setting it up. The structure of it is exactly the same the way he talked about Casticus. All right, Casticus was related to this guy who had obtained all of this, and he was called a friend. Dumnorix, for the Aeduans, he's related to this guy who was obtaining all of his city-state, and he was called this, or accepted like this, by the plebe. Y'all remember that one? It was the Romani Populi in the other one, called a friend by the Roman people, a friend of the Roman people. He was accepted greatly by the commoners. All right, so he's trying to give you the same sort of section of detail for each person, making it very clear for the Romans to understand. Because guys, remember, underneath the surface, what is Julius Caesar trying to do?
He's trying to gain the people's...
He's trying to gain the people's favor. Where?
In Rome.
In Rome. So really, there's this underlying sort of shadowed huge triangle of Julius Caesar in the background of those other three. Basically saying, oh, by the way, they were doing this, trying to gain I did it overall. I conquered even these guys. So you're going to trust me even more after you read the rest of this book. All right, so here we go.
If I was a Roman in that...
Oh, I didn't even finish.
I would have been freaking out right now.
Dude, just losing it. All right. He was called, or accepted, greatly, widely, by the commoners. All right. Ut idem conerator persuadet. All right. So that. All right. And so, just so you guys are clear here, ut and item is likewise, he did this with this guy, who yada yada yada. He did this with this guy so that. This is where things are a little different than his relationship with Casticus. Because he is obtaining. He was obtaining. So something needs to happen to solidify that. So he convinced Dumnorix to join him. All right, and he did it in order that that same guy, Dumnorix, he might conara. Do y'all know what conara means? It would be in your textbook if you want to have that open. Conara means try. So that he might try to persuade him. So that he might try to persuade him to do what? To in matrimonium dot. What does that mean? To marry whose daughter? So who is this talking about? This is a little bit of a tricky part. Okay, or Orgetorix's daughter. Because what do marriages basically represent?
Alliance.
Yeah, that's all they really represent. Is just an alliance. All right, let me get this. Gotta see my notes. All right, so yeah, just want to make sure that you're not getting everybody mega twisted on all this. All right. So there you go. That's the translation. Here's the final translation. A lot of political things going on. Likewise, he persuaded Dumnorix the Aeduan, brother of Dowiciacus, who at this time was holding the chief command of his own state, and who was especially acceptable to the common people, widely accepted by the common people, to attempt the same thing. All right? And he, or Getorix, gave him, Dumnorix, his own daughter in matrimony. So that's the basic breakdown of that. You can check out. That's a very wooden translation of that translation. But let's go ahead and do this next one. All right? So, per facula, factu essa. All right? Per facula, factu essa. Some of that should look a little familiar to you.
That it was easy to do.
Yes, very good. That it was easy to do, probat. That has the subject noun hidden in it. Yes. He proves. And guess what? Elise, dative. What are your trigger words for the dative? 2 or 4. So he proves 4, 2, 4. Demonstrative pronoun. Don't lose these. These are good to keep. No, it'd be plural. To those. So he proves to those. You can really assume like those 2 men, those followers, those city-states. You can fill that in. Demonstrative pronouns have that wide breadth to them. So he proves to them that it would be easy to do. All right? Once again, this is a neck-up verb. Prove is something that you think about and do, speak maybe. All right? So he proves to them, understood that. He proves to them that. And then what do we have here? An infinitive, because that's got to be the type of verb in the indirect statement. That it would be easy to do. That it is easy to do. All right? Now, conata perficera. This is the thing that would be easy to do. Yes. That it would be easy to do. An attempt to perficera.
Amy, how about you take this one?
We're on this perficera right here. Yeah.
No.
So this is, you're right. It's not an easy thing. You can tell right now what is going on here. What's conata? You saw conatur a second ago, which was a verb. So this is a what? This is a verbal.
Oh, it's a gerund.
This is, well, not a gerund, but it is a verb taking on a different form. So the things always get a little bit more rhetorical when you do that. When you enter into the fourth principal part, when you enter into those participles, you're getting into a different kind of rhetoric. This is a perfect passive participle. Those things having been tried is literally how this translates. Because look back really quick. Y'all see this right here?
Yeah.
That the same thing he tried to persuade him. You see that? That's the verb. But this is the indicative version of that verb. You guys need to look how this is a participle version of this verb. So participles are what? They're verbal adjectives. But I've highlighted this orange because it's accusative. It's the direct object. He proves to them that those things having been tried, those things dealing with leaving, that's what perficera means. Those undertakings. All right? So you can just go ahead and translate it that way. I know I'm getting into the grammar. I just don't want y'all to run into stuff like this and be like, oh, this is untranslatable. You guys know how to identify participles. You know grammatically what participles are. And you know how verbs can relate to one another in situations of indirect statement. And that sounds like a lot, but y'all know how to do that stuff. It's just going to take some time to get back into the flow of it. All right? So you can really just turn this all into undertakings. Those things having been tried to complete is what perficera means, is where we get perfection from. All right? Those things having been tried to complete. He proves to them that it would be easy to do. Propteria quod.
Oh.
So, yeah, really nice one to see. It takes up a lot of space on sentences. So I remember thinking when I was in college and high school, yes, finally, it takes up so much space of a sentence. I can just translate it because ipsa, and this is masculine singular. So that man himself, he himself is how you could translate that. He himself, and This is where your knowledge of participles can help you. What do you see? Come on.
It's an infinitive.
What kind?
And esse one.
What? Okay, you got a little subjunctive version of sum there. Good.
Going. Fucking.
Good. What else?
It's a T, so it's gonna be him.
This is purple.
Oh, the purple one. I thought we were
Just help me out. I just want you to identify. Yeah, I don't know why, but the future active participle is purple in my brain. So these are going to be purple. It's a future active participle. All right? It is following a subjunctive version of sum, but just think about this. He proves to them that it would be easy to do because he himself. Now just go with your brain. What do you think it says? Because he himself what?
He had done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the future.
Oh, he will do it.
Yeah, he's about to do it. Do you guys see how that flows naturally, logically? He proves that this is going to be easy to do because he himself, suai kiwitatis, genitive,
For the people.
his own,
Oh,
suai,
yeah.
this is possessive,
Oh, yeah.
his own
city-state.
his own city-state, he was about to, you guys remember how that turned? About to obtain. No, but this is a super strong word. I want you to understand how important that word is. It was invented by the Romans for the Romans.
It's like
Pause for a second. Did you hear what I just said? Invented by the Romans for the Romans.
King is like
Who is he? Who's talking right now?
or getter.
Is he a Roman?
No, he's not. Oh, no, he's not.
Remember that. Who's writing this story?
Kaiser.
Yeah. So listen, this word does not mean empire because the empire didn't exist yet.
Is it just talking?
We're in like the 60s, 50s BC. The empire does not exist yet. Rome is definitely turning into one. It's been turning into one since Marius and Sulla. Those guys I've told you about. No, wait, no. Those guys are in the legend. All right? But this word right here was invented by the Senate for times that necessitated dictatorship. All right? They would only give imperium to a certain man, a general, a warrior, a leader who deserved it.
He's trying to put them into the minds that he wants the imperium.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And that somehow, because remember, guys, what's his main goal here? Is writing this story about the Helvetians and the Sequani, the Aeduans that nobody knows about.
Gain the people's trust.
To
affection.
You're right. But here in this moment,
He wants them.
he's putting it into terms that Romans can understand.
He's gaslighting.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, don't use gaslight because you don't even know it. Nobody knows what that word means. Everybody just talks about that word.
Gaslighting.
But you're right. But shut up. I'm just kidding. But yeah, no. Imperium is just a word that he's throwing in there to basically say, you guys know how like I had Imperium once. You remember how awesome that was for me?
That was great.
How scary would it be if this guy Getorix had it? You guys see what he's doing? It's propaganda. He's twisting their understanding of politics and economics and all these things into things that he knows his readers are going to understand, and it's all going to point to him in the end. This is De Bellō Gallicō. Do you think he'd write this book if he had lost? No. This is a victorious treatise. He's writing this because he loves himself, and he loves what he's done. So this word right here is an important word, because it didn't exist for the Gauls. Guarantee you that. All right? Supreme authority, handed down by the gods, is what that means. Supreme authority from the gods. And he had, or was about to, obtenturus esse, he was about to obtain that. It's easy, guys. You can do it. All right? It's light work. Per facula factu esse. Yeah. All right? So, he also says this, non esse dubium. Non esse dubium. What does that mean? What do you guys see in there? What does dubious mean? Yep.
Helpful.
Yep. There is an understood ellipsis of dixit here.
He said it.
All right? So he said, and then that's why you have essa right there. Yeah, indirect. He said that it would be,
Doubtful.
yeah, it would be no doubt. There is no doubt. I guess it's an easier way to say it. He said that there is no doubt. He said that there is no doubt. And then quin here just means but that. Basically saying like this is the only thing that can happen. Everything but this moment, quin, that's what quin does. Queen, I guess. There is no doubt in anything. Don't doubt anything. The only thing you need to believe in is that this. But there is no doubt. Look at what's in there. Come on. You guys can get this. And there's also a bunch of notes in there for you on your in your text.
Is Queen in here? No. Yes, it is Queen.
Huh? Yes, exactly. Post-sent. There you go. And this is literally something called a doubting clause in Latin. In doubting clauses, whenever you see a word of doubt, a verb of doubt, noun of doubt, or anything like that, and then there's a conjunction between them or an adverb between them, the next verb will be in the subjunctive. So that's why it looks like that. It's like a fear clause or a cum clause.
I love fear clause.
And purpose clause, result, yeah, all that kind of stuff. You're just going to have a subjunctive that's just introducing that that's the rhetoric that you're using here. So, that there would be no doubt that Totius Gallia,
The whole of Gaul.
all of Gaul, the Helvetians, are able, plurim, to be the most powerful. So now, you guys are right. Left to right, you guys got it down. Now make it make more sense in English. Plurimum possent means to be the most powerful.
But the Helvetians will be the most powerful in all of Gaul.
Bang.
Boom.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt, guys. Look what I'm doing. You guys can do it too. You guys have the means to do it. All right, so say here is actually kind of working as the subject noun here. I put it as that, even though you guys know it's in the accusative. Why is the accusative version of this the subject noun? It's an indirect statement. Thank you.
Nice name.
All right? All right? That the Helvetians are the most powerful in all of Gaul, no doubt. Totius Gallia, no doubt. All right? And that. Understood that. That's why the editors of the text just put the semicolon right there for you. And that say.
Themselves.
Look at the number of the verb. If it's a subject noun, huh?
Himself.
That he himself. All right, and then this kind of gets out of indirect statement. And then he goes and he explains it. So that he himself, and that's why he's used a legit verb here. That he himself, what? What do you guys see in here? What words do you recognize in here? Yep, what does that mean?
There's like draw out.
No, that's a good guess because of the X. It means army. That's where we get exercise from, those who have worked for it. So, yeah, army. What about that one? We did that one earlier. Copies. Resources. And then we have suo and suis next to those things. Possessive adjective. He himself, his own resources. And his own army. All right? He
will confirm.
He will confirm? Confirmat?
Oh, he confirmed.
He confirms. It's just indicative present.
Yeah, because we're back. We're out of the...
Yeah, we're out of that. All right?
We're out of the month.
He confirms, and this is going to take some different translations, but that's fine. He confirms what? Affirmed, I guess would be an easier way to understand this. He affirmed. He affirmed that
they will reign.
That he what? He affirmed that he. There's the infinitive in the indirect statement.
To unite. Is that the... Yeah.
You're doing good. He affirmed that he what? Is about to win over. Elise. That's in the dative. You can see it in the red there. He confirmed, he affirmed that he was about to win over Elise. Dative uses what? Trigger words. 2 or 4. He was about to win over for them. Remember, this is a demonstrative pronoun, so you can say just like this broad stroke, all right? He was about to win over for them regna. The kingdoms, plural. Idua and Sequani, plural. And this is an ablative of means. By his own supplies in his own army. Do you guys hear what that's saying? He is leaving Number one, there are two things. Number one, that he's leaving no doubt about. The Helvetians are the strongest in all of Gaul. There's no doubt. And number two, there's no doubt that I'm even going to win over for you. I'm going to establish, reconcile these kingdoms for all of you. And you're not going to do it by yourself. I'm going to do it with my own supplies. I'm going to do it with my own army. You're not going to be alone.
He's like a D1 manipulator. Use your words.
It's sweet. This is a sweet thing to offer. And honestly, if you are going to convince somebody to do something, think about like a business deal.
Yes.
Or you know, just be like, yo, you know what'd be sick is if you give me money.
Oh,
yeah, give me money. You got to put something forward. You follow me, you trust me. Hear what I have to say, hear my plan. Here's what I have to offer to the table. I'm excited to share this I'm excited to share this with you. Make the pie bigger, you know? Capitalism.
Oh yeah.
The pie's bigger, more resources.
Yeah.
The army gets bigger, stronger, borders. All right?
Amen, brother.
So that's what he's doing here. He's saying the Helvetian land is too small, but I have promised for you a plan. I promised for you my own resources, my own goods, all that kind of stuff. So here's the translation in the end. He showed to them that to accomplish these undertakings was very easy to do. Very easy thing to do. Once again, this is super wooden, going like directly with, but the translation you guys have down is good. Because he himself was about to obtain the supreme rule of his own state. He said that there was no doubt but that the Helvetians were the most powerful in all of Gaul, and he affirmed that he would win for them their kingdoms with his own resources and with his own army. Okay, so just want to make sure that's in y'all's head. This is the last little bit we're going to cover. All right? Hoc orationa. Remember, he starts with pronouns a lot to show a break in his thoughts. That's why I've started with this one like I have a bunch of the other ones. So he does it in what case a lot of the time? He starts these... ablative. So with this orationa.
Speech.
Yeah, with this speech. Just so you guys know, you read epic poetry, you read any of like the legendary stories of ancient times, every warrior is a good speaker. Oh, sorry, every good warrior is eloquent. Every good warrior is wise and eloquent. Wisdom and eloquence go hand in hand. If they don't have those things, if they have bad arguments, they're usually bad guys or lower tier characters.
They're like a C tier.
Yeah, so you guys remember who's writing this?
Kaiser.
Yeah, Caesar is writing this. And what did he just make Orgetorix?
You made him a bad.
Made him wise and eloquent.
I don't know.
Yeah, you're in it though, Luke. You're in the soup. That's all that matters.
I'm lost in
You get lost in this because you're reading this. Sometimes you're like, oh, I'm reading a textbook because this is Latin class. I'm going through the grammar and whatever. But I'm telling you, this story, you read it straight through. This story is a wild narrative. Wild narrative.
It's like a bunch of like Marvel posters.
You forget. You forget that Caesar is the one writing this. He is the one writing the history down. And he is making his enemy look like a baller. Why?
Don't ask me.
Why?
Thank you.
Why is he making his enemy look like a baller?
Because when he finally defeats him.
Yo, have y'all seen the Jake Paul documentary?
I've watched like half of it.
Finish it.
Okay.
Because the first half shows him fight people who aren't really
We
boxers.
don't care about him.
What mattered in the end was that he actually went toe-to-toe with a boxer. And that fight was dope.
That was sick.
Guys, come on. What's he doing here?
He's trying to like build him up on equal ground. So when he beats him, he's gonna be like, I'm him.
Hundo P.
Hundo P.
One Hundo P. That's what he's doing. He's making him look like a smart economic leader, a smart military leader,
So then,
a guy who can win the heart of his
And
people.
then he's gonna be like, I'm a smarter military leader. I'm a
100%.
better military leader.
All right, so this is what we're doing here, guys. Don't forget that.
You heard that, Emma?
Don't forget that,
Yeah,
because you're gonna feel. you're gonna feel how he does that in every sentence. If you remember, if you don't, then they're just gonna turn to Latin sentences. I've got to translate. Remember, that's his goal. Every single one of these sentences is something to get into the minds of his people and to make the Helvetians and all the other Gauls look a certain way. All right, so that he in the end looks a certain way. Nice, that's what I was gonna say.
Go, dude.
Okay, so here we go.
I'm locked in this.
With this speech, adukti, this is the third time you've seen that participle used as a subject noun. Let me just go ahead and give it to you because we're almost out of time.
We are on set.
All right. So, with this speech, those people having been enticed or led towards something, inspired, you could say, with this speech, inspired by this speech, daunt. All right? And this is the subject noun here because it's a substantive adjective. Remember, substantive adjectives are adjectives that are referring to a physical noun or a something noun, but it just gives you the description of those things. Those swayed, that's an adjective, those swayed people give, daunt. And what do they give? They give faith and use. Use means vows. So this is where things get religious. Not only is he an economic charismatic leader, he brings religion into it. All right, this is very important for you all to remember. Nothing is complete in the ancient world without a religious side to it. That's how the world was for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Nothing was complete without the infinite. Something tied to the infinite and the beyond. All right? So, here we go. They gave among themselves promises and vows urandum. All right? Did they give you a hint on how to translate this? Because this is kind of a wild one. Can y'all tell me what it is, first of all?
Indeed, it's a gerund.
It's a gerund. Woo! So this is actually sort of the action of it, and you can kind of put it all together. Yeah, you can basically just say they exchanged pledges and oaths. That's how this all can be understood. They exchanged pledges and oaths. All right, those are religious things. All right, and regno occupato. All right, then we have a really long accusative prepositional phrase. And then we have all of Gaul. You have se, which just means themselves. Then you have two verbs next to each other. They're both infinitives that are irregular infinitives. This one's a deponent infinitive, and this one is the to be able to infinitive. And then you have the verb. Speiron. So what does speiron mean? You get that, you're good to go.
Casticus.
Wrong! What does speiron mean? They hope. All right? Okay?
The hope for.
So I'm going to do this. And, comma, with the, actually, hold on, let me wait on that. With the kingdom having been occupato. Yeah, so this is the ablative absolute. You've got your present, or perfect passive participle right here. And then you've got your noun in the ablative. With the kingdom having been occupied, with the power having been seized. Per tres potentissimos ac firmissimos populos. Dude, he wrote that down and he started getting goosebumps, guaranteed. He's trying to make this story sound rad. With the kingdom, with the reign having been occupied through tres potentissimos et ac firmissimos populos. What does that mean? Come on. Potentissimos. What do y'all see in potentissimos? Yeah, what is it? It's a superlative.
Oh, yeah.
This is a superlative adjective. I see how you're seeing that, the ISSE, but there's no ISSE.
Because I can see that.
All right, yeah. And these have noun endings. So, through three of the most powerful and the most, capable, fierce, strong peoples. All right?
The whole of God. Says they themselves.
You got it. You're doing it. With the reign, with the power having been occupied, they hoped to do what? They hoped to, Posa, do that one first. They hoped to be able to potiri. I had this earlier, potior, it's another one of those deponents. It means to take possession of. All right?
Make oneself master of.
Yep. So they hoped
Take possession.
to be able to take possession through 3 of the most powerful and the most sturdy peoples, Totius Gallii, in all of Gaul. All right, so that's how that one goes. Here's the final translation for that. All right. Swayed by this speech, they exchanged pledges and oaths, and after the kingship, the ruling, the authority, the yada yada, had been seized, the kingships having been seized, they hoped to be able to take possession of all of Gaul through these 3, their 3, because it's talking about the Aeduan, the Sequani, and the Helvetians, through their 3 very powerful and strong peoples. All right? So you guys have your open book test tomorrow, and you have the other one on Friday. But start studying for the Friday one tonight. Continue going through your notes. Go back through the grammar. Remember, the way I said is best to translate these guys is to go back into these and try and translate them without looking. All right, if you can do that and look at the grammar of those things, then that's great. And I'll give you some exercises to do in the meantime. Bye, I'm a Bye Taylor. Peace out.